I can't believe it, but the mercerized dress saga is finally at an end. In this video, I'm just going to talk over a few little tweaks that I made after I'd worn it a few times and, learned about different things that weren't quite working out. And then we're going to go into the vanity footage. So I feel kind of lost now. I don't know what on earth I'm going to do next, but I'm sure I'll think of something, and I'm sure that you guys can help me. The biggest alteration I made was to add this ruffle to the hem of the skirt because I realized that the skirt was just too short. And I had to lengthen it. So I made this ruffle out of what little of the remaining fabric I had. I actually wanted to have it be pleated with either box pleats or knife pleats because I thought that would make it look a little bit more adult, a little bit less juvenile, because I feel like the ruffle does make it look kind of juvenile, but I just did not have quite enough fabric to make the pleats work, so I had to gather it, and I covered the join with this little bit of passementerie there. So that's the biggest difference. Does it look slightly juvenile? Yes, but is it better to have a slightly juvenile skirt than a skirt that is just too short? Also, yes. I'm also kind of worried about how it's going to come on focus, about how it's going to hold up long term, because I obviously can't really bind the hem of this ruffle. So the hem of the skirt will, I mean, that'll stand up to, that'll survive hell's fury, but the hem of the ruffle could just wear out. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but I don't wear this dress incredibly frequently. It was intended to be like an everyday dress, but this fabric is not really suited for that. So that's the biggest change that I made. Another change that I made was to add these two little bars to the back of the skirt waistband. And on the bodice, there are corresponding hooks that hook onto the bars. Now, the bodice's hooks are just there, and they hook onto the skirt. And I did that because I noticed that the bottom of the skirt was kind of sinking below the bodice, so it looked kind of like that. And I did not like that, so I just decided to have something to hook the bodice onto the skirt to keep it from riding down. And this is completely historically accurate. You see this all the time in historical garments, so I don't actually know why I didn't bother doing that earlier. For some reason, it just never occurred to me, but I added that on, and I also added hooks to many of my other skirts and bodices because they work so well. And there's just something that just feels so... I love the little, like, historically accurate things that you don't necessarily see, but you know that they're there. They just make you feel so much more of the period. So it's fun. I believe the last kind of little alteration that I did that was not on camera was to tack this down to the vest portion, or the upper bodice portion, just to keep it from gaping and sagging. I think I might even still put in one more tacking stitch there. That was just a very simple thing, just to keep it all in line and looking nice. But those are all of the alterations that I made. So now I think it's time for the vanity footage. I really, really hope you enjoyed. A huge, huge thank you to River Shoal, Mary Royal, Emily Donnelly, Kit Kat Stitch, and Sandra White for sponsoring this channel on Patreon. If you'd also like to sponsor this channel on Patreon, there's a link in the description down below. If you don't want to, no hard feelings. If you want to follow me on Instagram, there will also be a link to that below. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and, you know, all of the YouTube stuff. And I hope to see you next time for whatever adventure we're going to embark on next. Bye-bye.